Welcome to Men, Sex, and Tantra.
Discover what your parents, porn, and religion never taught you about being a man and having extraordinary sex. Get ready to have your mind blown and your world rocked.
Hello and welcome back to the Tanja, Man, Sex, and Tantra podcast.
What are we talking about? We're talking about men, sex, and tantra. And it's Tanja and John. And
Yoo-hoo!
What are we talking about today, John?
Relationship red flags, the end of the relationship.
Okay, so after the breakup?
After the breakup. So,
Okay.
And what jumps out at me in all the relationship red flags after the breakup is the reflection. So, after a relationship ends, is a beautiful opportunity to reflect on what happened.
Is that before you take the next woman's pants off, or like while you're taking them off, or
like sometimes it happens during. Wait a minute, is this deja vu? These I'm pretty sure these aren't the same panties, but it sure feels like I've been here before. This is how my last relationship started.
Oh.
off the back of another one. Now I'm going to get onto the back of another one. So there's something that can be said to like being present and reflecting after a relationship breakup, feeling the grief, what happened. One of the red flags is not taking the time to feel all the feelings. Maybe even writing down and brainstorming like what you didn't like about how that relationship ended.
Wait.
What you didn't like about your partner.
Hang on, you just said a foreign word. Maybe it's because you're from Australia, but I didn't
Which one?
catch that word. That word sounded like feeling.
A feeling.
I think you said something about writing down a
feeling.
Is that the word you used?
That was the word. It's a swear word. It's the F word that we don't say.
Okay.
It's a reoccurring theme in relationships ending. Yeah. So in the red flags, like you might have heard the comments from your partner, and we're talking about it could be both, gay and straight, but mostly in the relationships that I deal with, heterosexual relationships, the women, when I'm debriefed by how the relationship ended, usually it's women that come to me.
Yeah.
Like he didn't listen to my feelings. He didn't listen to his feelings. Like he just ignored them. Like he didn't listen to what I have to say. He was never present with me. And a lot of that boils down to avoiding the F word.
Yeah. Avoiding the F word.
And then demanding that your partner be a certain way, like, oh, we haven't had sex, we haven't had this, we haven't had that. Yeah, because you're avoiding the F word. So in the side of a relationship, you love the honeymoon period. You feel it's great, it's good, all the juices are flowing, there's this attraction, there's the curiosity. And then when that goes, that's when the relationship starts.
Yeah, people don't like that part.
No, they don't like that part, because you got to talk about the F word.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And the F word doesn't need to be this big iceberg that you're aiming towards. It can be something that you chip at over time. And it starts with understanding what's going on in your body and developing an emotional landscape, like speaking to things. And
my man part here, my masculine male part is just, I feel my eyes glazing over, and you're talking about all this stuff that I'm just going, oh, wait, hang on, wait, I'm looking over there now. And I'm like, oh my God, is there a game coming on? Where the fuck is that fish? Yeah, I'm feeling like
totally
disconnected, and this is like that spiritual woo-woo shit that my woman keeps talking about, this presence, intimacy, feeling shit. And when we have that conversation where she's told me all her feelings, and then she, and I've maybe squeaked out a couple of feeling words, I feel like I want to run away. She wants to have sex. What the fuck is that all about?
Yeah, that's great. And I felt all that too, because I've been that guy. Like, oh, what are you saying? Like, just get it fixed. Like, I don't want to hear the complaining. I don't want to hear what the issue is. Just like, if you don't like me, just don't be with me. Like, what's the issue? Like, just make it very clear cut.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be away. Like the very first long-term relationship that I had, she was pouring her heart out to me, and attachment style, she was in that moment, she was in a secure state, but she was typically avoidant, and she was pouring her heart out to me, and I legit glazed over.
Yeah.
I was like, I was mad. I was a mad gamer. Like I was a World of Warcraft freak. Like I sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours into World of Warcraft. And she was telling me all these issues about her heading back to New York. It was a long distance relationship. And I can't even remember the conversation. I like split off, glazed over. And she said to me, "Are you even listening to me?" And she noticed my eyes drifted apart, like not together, but actually like left and right away from each other.
Wow.
And I was like, and that was a moment for me. Like, there's something that's here that I don't understand. And that started me looking at emotions, that the E word.
The E word that goes with the F word.
It goes with the F word, but looking at it mechanically, like logically, what are these emotions? What are these things? We can turn them off. We can just meditate them away. Great. So the feelings that pop up, and me wanting to fix it, make it better. And then knowing that the more I tried to fix it, the worse it made the relationship, which made me feel like a failure, which felt like the relationship was over. And so the relationship was over, and that kind of just dissolved. And then I never reflected. So I got into another relationship, rinse and repeat, right?
You know, it occurred to me, and I derailed you off after the breakup topic, but this is more interesting, so we're going to stick here with the feeling word, because I like spontaneity. So
me too.
This whole thing. I mean, I've worked with tons of men, more men than women, but I work with couples too, and the men are okay at feeling, interestingly enough, failure and performance anxiety. Men are adept, right? And disappointing women, feeling like a disappointment, feeling like a failure, and having performance anxiety feelings. Those seem to be, and angry. Angry is another one of those, right? But the other feelings, because there's way more, believe it or not, than those, right? There are like way more than those.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. And when I've talked to men about, this connection to the feeling, I decades ago, I'm that old, came up with the idea or the realization that men are way more sensitive than women are. This is why I love men. I absolutely adore men, by the way. So way more sensitive. As little boys, they have 5 times the startle reflex that girls do. They take the hurts so much deeper. Like the first time their mom looks at them with a scowl on their face, the little boy tries to help his mom do something, and she's, of course, a harried, harassed mom or whatever, and just goes, "Oh, never mind, I'll do it myself." Right there, they failed the first woman they love.
Wow.
Right there, that wound right there, I've seen that wound in men that are 50 years old, still with that wound. And this doesn't mean, I'm not saying men are weak. I'm saying that men have so much depth and sensitivity and not the same emotional resilience that women do with those pains.
Yeah.
Because who knows what? Because we don't talk about it, because you're not society. Let's even forget the why.
Yep.
But let's just look at that's the case. The first rejection, when they were so brave and they went up and asked that girl if she'd go to the dance.
Yeah.
The first time they kissed a girl and she was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Any of that, I see and I feel the depth in which men carry that through their lives. So it's not that men don't feel anything. It's that most men that I've talked to are overwhelmed by the feeling. And they're afraid that if they let it out, they'll never stop crying. They won't be able to work. They won't be able to function. It's so huge. It's like a tidal wave that will take them over.
Wow. I just wanted to give pause to that, Tanya. That was, that's profound. I feel all that. I feel it in myself. Yeah, I've experienced similar with men when they speak to hurts of the past, particularly in relationships where they'll say, "Oh, this happened," but but she was upset. So straight away, there's a justification for the feeling. There's not space and pause to go, "Oh, it actually really hurt me." Like when she said to me that she was frustrated that I didn't catch the right fish or mow the lawn in time.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't realize that actually fucking hurt. Like that hurt me when you said that. And being able to express that hurt and feel that hurt, acknowledge that hurt. So it doesn't mean that you're going to become a blubbering mess. It means that you're saying that that hurt, and now that you've expressed the hurt and she's witnessed the hurt, I can go back to whatever I was doing. Particularly with the mother example, like the first woman that I've loved, and the techniques to take you back to those younger ages and go, but I was only 3 when I've spoken to my dad about this and other men about this. Like, oh, they were busy. My mum was busy. She meant well. I was only 3 at the time, but it's okay. But look at me now. I'm really strong. Like I've got this achievement. I've got this achievement. And then being able to catch that moment when the split appears of dipping into that emotion and that past. I'm moving my thumb and my hand like I'm moving into the past.
He's been giving us visuals here.
Moving into the past, like these are not the droids you're looking for. That when you're looking into the past and you touch on those core memories that play out through all of your relationships, like that when you touch on that core hurt in a present relationship, all of them are triggered.
Yeah, it's good for the gestalt, right? It's like a snowball, right?
Totally.
So it's not just that moment that's happening. It's actually the culmination of all the moments leading up to there. So, and what happens with most men when they have that experience?
They
rage,
totally,
or they shut down, right?
Totally. Yeah. Rage, shut down. Yeah. Or some diversionary something. Yeah. Shut down and move to something else. Like go pick up a book, jump on Tinder, something to get their mind out of the situation.
And usually something that makes them feel successful.
Yeah. And it can be porn too. They jump straight to porn.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Something. So whatever makes them feel the opposite.
Yeah.
They will go towards. And so when women say, well, he's always on the, gaming, he's always doing this. And I'm like, yeah, because that's where he's feeling successful.
Yeah.
And they look at me like, what? Because I like to hold women accountable for providing men a place to go where women want them to go.
Right.
Because you know what? There's a lot of women at fault here. I just want you guys to know that this is, you know what? A lot of women say they want that man that's going to talk about his feelings, and that man that's going to be vulnerable, and that man that's going to do that. And then the second the man does that, the woman freaks the fuck out and shuts his ass down.
Oh, thank you, Tanya. Yes, because I've had that experience.
Yeah.
Multiple relationships. Since I've done my inner work, they want like, just talk about your feelings, John. Like, what's present for you? The minute I out of the first sentence, they do it exactly what I did. They would glaze over. They'd like disassociate, just disappear. And I'm like, did you want to listen to me or not? Like, I can hold space for both of us. Yeah. But like, did you want to hear it? Because I've got friends that I could call and have this conversation with. If you want to open that Pandora's box, be there in it with me. Otherwise, don't ask. I don't need it. Like,
yeah. So I hear a lot of men saying, yeah, I hear what you're saying, you guys. Sure, I'd like to do that. Wouldn't I love to come home to my castle and actually have it a safe place where I don't have to put on this facade that I have to be everywhere else in the corporate world and everything? Can't I just come home and just be? Like every once in a while, I need to be held. Every once in a while, I need to like vent my frustrations. I can't always be this like solid, okay, stoic, whatever the hell. And then if you do that, then all of a sudden I'm a wuss or a pussy or a crybaby or whatever, and I can see the look on their face when I'm in that space. I want to tell you, I'm about to cry because the amount of men that have called me to work with me and told me that they're calling to work with me because their women are going to leave them because they tell them that they're stoic and they're not being intimate and they're not being present and that. And this guy's showing up. He's getting on a phone call with a stranger that's a woman, and he's telling me things that he's never said. Why is that happening? Why does this woman feel like he can't access that when he's literally doing it first phone call with me because of a safe container?
Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, I get it. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you too. Yes, in a perfect world, your woman that you pick would be somebody who could hold space and hold those moments for you. That's you picking really well, and not just for her boobs, right? She could have boobs and be able to hold your space for you. But like,
And she can go to fish.
yeah, and she can fish. Admire your fish. Exactly. And if you're wondering what the fuck the fish is, listen to the other conversation about online profiles. But the reality is nobody's safe and everybody's safe. People are safe till they're not, right?
Yeah.
People are predictable till they're not.
Yes.
People are monogamous till they aren't. People are truth tellers till they lie.
Yes.
So you have to not wait for somebody to make it the right place for you. You have to be willing to dip your toe in the water. And really, if you're with somebody who's a bitch when you do that, that might be your wake-up call to get the fuck out.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah.
So the F
Totally.
word. So how do you want, man? So the F word. How would you like a man to approach? Give these guys an approach, some tip to start walking towards that world.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, being able to acknowledge like why you can't have this conversation if you're in a relationship, why you can't have this conversation with a partner. And you might need someone to talk to, like a Tanya or somebody else, like just to take that initial pressure off. Because if depending on how long the relationship's gone on for, the pressure's just built.
He's got
So
his
you need
hands
to be
about
able
a
to
fish wide apart right now. Sorry.
fish wide. About a flat head, typical. So it's you need to take the pressure off because your partner's not going to be able to hold all that pressure, the bulk of the relationship. So you need to see someone and speak to it. Just get the pressure out, and it might not be one of your mates down at the pub, because the people that you've surrounded yourself with are going to reinforce your model of reality. You need to find someone that you trust. Even just being willing to it and inviting it in, you'll Google search or Facebook search or whatever it is, then you will find someone that's going to fit that box for you, and have that conversation, because it's like walking. If you haven't got the tools, you can be walking into a war zone. Because if you're used to fighting, if your relationship's full of fighting, then as soon as you open your mouth, it's going to be all that fear. It's going to pop up. And if the fight goes to more than 15 minutes, you're re-traumatizing yourself. So it's like, cool, don't do that. Get the pressure off.
Yeah.
Come to the realization that, hey, I've been doing this. Like, I've wanted my partner to listen to me my whole life. I've just wanted her to not judge me. Like, just speak to like the issues at work, my health, like what's been stressed about, like the money or whatever it is. Actually have the conversation. So I think the first step is the awareness that you actually want to do this, because it is for the faint-hearted, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Because once you open that box, you're not going to want to close it, because it allows you to be it allows you to be who you were when you were a very young age, and it will connect you to all of the things that you've been missing in childhood, like your desire and your playfulness, everything. So it opens up everything, and I encourage you to do it, because your life will never be the same, your relationships will never be the same. And that's not to put the fear of God in you. That's to say, hey, there's an opportunity and possibility available for you if you are willing to open your heart to this and connect your voice to that heart.
Yeah, I love that. That's, yeah. And I think one of the things that I really loved you said is awareness that you actually want to do this. Because you have to actually want to do that. You have to actually want to have that change happen to take the courageous action to make that
Yeah.
happen. And so if you're fooling yourself, if you're like, oh no, I really want this, but you don't really agree to that, you're going to sabotage it every time.
Or my partner sent me here. I get that too. My partner sent me to be here. So,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so so here's my takeaway or my to do with this. If you're in a partnership, I'd like you to tell your partner that you'd like to have a 2-minute conversation with them. And I want you to go and I want you to sit side by side on the couch. And I want you to hold hands or, have her touch your leg or your shoulder. So be in physical contact, because guess what? When you sit in that position, women talk half as much and men talk twice as much. So that's setting your nervous system up and everything. Never face off when you're doing these things. Even though you might hear, oh, eye gazing is good. Don't do this if you're just starting this. You want to sit side by side, not confrontational, physical contact. That'll make you feel better. And set a timer and set it up for success. Tell your partner, I'm practicing something new. I'm going to set a timer. And for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you to not say anything. And I'm going to attempt to talk about the F word feeling in this case. I'm going to talk about some of my feelings for just 2 minutes. And when that timer goes off, we're not touching this conversation. We can hug, we can kiss, and we're just going to walk away. We're creating a safe container, ritual container for me to just dip my toe in the water today. Right? So we're not going to revisit anything I said, even if you're scared, even if I'm scared. It doesn't matter. This is a safe practice container for me to dip my toe into something that we both want to happen. And that's what you do. And if you do that, that's a micro practice. And if you do that and you set it up successfully, hopefully your partner will honor that. Most women will if you come to them with that level of vulnerability and tell them what you're trying to do. The majority of women will support you in that. So just set it up like that. Set the timer, do the exercise, close by a kiss or a hug, walk away, and take care of yourself, because you might be freaking out after that. And anyway, that's my tip to start this whole process into that journey of.
Beautiful.
Thank you. All right, so this was us, John and Tanya. Today,
Hey.
Come on back, because we're going to be talking about things that are probably not as scary as feelings. This was the fear episode. F words.
F word.
And we're out.